What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that I seen this video on Instagram last night, right? That is kind of like aiming towards the direction of something that I had thought of when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? And I had someone in my life who always used to ask me, like, what is it that you wanted to do? You know what I'm saying? Or what is it that you see yourself doing? All the time. Always used to ask me. And the number one thing that I always used to say was, I wanted to be able to build a high school, right? Or I feel like there are high schools that should be put into the world based off of the movie Blank Check. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the movie Blank Check. You know what I'm saying? This little boy got a hold of this blank check and he wrote as much as money on it as he wanted, and he like furnished his house to where it had McDonald's, it had everything in it to where he didn't even have to leave. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I didn't know how to get the concept to come together. But now that I'm older, what I've realized is that the video was this school. I'm not going to say the name because I did my own research, and what I found out is that it wasn't actually real. It's actually a place of business that they're saying is a high school that really isn't the truth. You know what I'm saying? But if people were able to understand that funding shouldn't go into certain things that don't help elevate people, but because we've been in a world where a lot of people's gifts have created a lot of the things we use in the world currently right now, right? But there are so many people that just want to capitalize and make money off of, you feel me, the product itself, whether it's in human form or their idea. You know what I'm saying? Not actually, you feel me, the human it themselves. You get what I'm saying? So because that's the case, oftentimes people's gifts are exploited, you know, and they're not really treated fairly as humans because there's always someone trying to find a way to exploit their giftedness for to make money in some way. So a lot of times that leaves the person feeling as if they don't have the ability to internally match themselves with the frequency to be able to create. You get what I'm saying? So that being the case, I feel as if a lot of what has been taught in schools, just my opinion, you know what I'm saying, is based off making children, you know, grow up into adults where they are put into, you know what I'm saying, a system where they become workers. You get me? But if you understand energy and how it works, oftentimes those people that turn into workers are only getting jobs to be able to support their families with the cost of living as far as the basic necessities is food and shelter, right? But they're most of the time not even interested in doing the job. You get me? The people running the companies have more of a better lifestyle than the ones actually working the jobs, but they know that if they want to be able to take care of their families with rising housing costs and, you know what I'm saying, and car costs and food costs, they have to be able to work a job that's able to pay enough to be able to take care of those basic necessities, right? So you have to think, and I'm just speaking from experiences. I've worked jobs that I did not want to work, but they paid good. You know what I'm saying? To be able to even compare to the housing market that I worked them anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I just did not like waking up every day going to certain jobs. I was not happy. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not happy going to a job, eventually you come up with excuses on why you don't want to go. on why you don't even want to invest your time and energy into that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think how over time that depletes the company itself, right? So before I get too off topic, to the left, the thing I was saying as far as I feel like in schools, it should be more of an opportunity to capitalize off of, you know, young adults' gifts, like what they're interested in the most. You know what I'm saying? And listen, it doesn't matter who tries to take and steal what I'm about to say. You couldn't do it right if you're trying to capitalize off people's gifts, because people are learning to be able to see through people that are trying to use them versus really trying to put them in a position to win, right? So I'm teaching how to grow in yourself enough to know when you're being used for maybe a special giftedness that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because that diminishes your ability to create when someone's trying to use your giftedness for profit. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to be in a happy space to create, because that's when you enjoy what you do instead of being used, right? And that's how things crash over time. They don't make it far. You know what I'm saying? So again, going back to the high school aspect, I feel like from 13 to maybe 17, right, is when you start mixing who you are and learning about the outside world together, right? So you may want to be interested in this, you may want to be interested in that, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that young adults are interested in is not what's being taught in school. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of what's learned in school is not needed for the jobs once you graduate. Now listen, I don't knock anybody that got a diploma. Big shout out and salute to you, because I went back and got mine too. But what I learned is that the real test was after I got out of school. It was almost as if I went to school from 5 to the age of 17 for a diploma, saying that I excelled in these subjects, to not be interested in anything once I got out of high school, right? And then it's almost as if you want to get the good job to provide for your family. They want you to go back to school again. You know what I'm saying? For another 3 to 5 years to be able to just acquire the knowledge you need to be able to make certain amount of money to even just keep up with the cost of living. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I know me. I just went to school from 5 to 17. I do not want to keep going to school. You feel me? And you become not interested. You got to think, people be more interested in, you know, a fraternity, frat, college parties. Why? Because we have been going to school for a very long time. It's boring now. And you want us to go back again? So just my personal perspective, you know what I'm saying, due to me researching, I seen a couple middle schools who are implementing the idea that I'm about to express. And I just feel like the thing I seen on YouTube was basically going after what a high school should look like, but it was actually a place of business. And what it had in there was studio booths, you know what I'm saying? Doctor stations, you know what I'm saying? Creative artists, rooms, fashion areas. I think the success rate overall with you letting a person be able to create based off what they like creates success as far as in graduation and a person actually doing what they want to do in the future. I think that's so much more important now than what maybe in the past someone wanted to just not allow anybody to know their gifts so that the people who run the world can capitalize off people, right? But as times are changing, I think it would be less behavioral problems in school, because you got to think about it. A lot of us as an adults, we shipped our kids off to school because we need 8 hours of babysitting. You know what I'm saying? But if you take that and you shift it, you feel me? Because I see sometimes some of the teachers even be having problems with the students. Like, they don't even be wanting to go to work because it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids be having problems at home, and then you send them to school and it just get 10 times worse where they're untrained. You know what I'm saying? On how to handle themselves. And you leave it to the teachers and the principals to deal with. And listen, it's a lot. It's just an automatic energy chain reaction, because they may be dealing with stuff at their house, and they come into school like it's just too much. It's too much energy to deal with in one setting. But personally, I feel as if you take and stop putting so much funding in the wars and things that are not important. Now, in some aspect they may be, but I feel like if you take a big chunk of money and you invest it in, you know what I'm saying, a different curriculum in these schools, and putting things in schools that help people gear more towards their talent, you know what I'm saying, it will be less behavioral issues, more success rate, more people dedicated to actually wanting to go out into the world and be able to use their gifts where they're making an impact, but in a way where they're able to create for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel as if the curriculum of what we learned in school all that time is not gearing towards or aiming towards that. You know, because you got to really think about the statistics I just named. And I'm just going to be honest. A lot of the jobs I got after high school did not ask for my high school diploma. So it was kind of like I went to school for nothing. All these years for nothing. And I'm still struggling. And I'm not interested in working at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So again, listen. I'm just saying that's a good start for the people that do not know how to work on themselves yet, to figure out inside of them where they want to be aimed towards going. You know what I'm saying? I feel as if it's not too late for adults. If you ever want to get out of whatever situation you're in, you'll make the necessary adjustments to grow. But if you're staying stuck in a repeated cycle, it's because you could care less about, you know what I'm saying, where you go in life due to your mental state. You know what I'm saying? But the most critical time period in every human body life is from 13 to 17, where you start analyzing all the things in your life. You start interpreting more with your young friends, you know what I'm saying? And you start learning or even having ideas of what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel as if it'll be less stressful if you have, you know, things inside of these schools where people, these young adults, are able to gear towards capitalizing off something they love. But again, like I said, there are so many people that feel like life should be like this: military, after school, you know what I'm saying, college fun, this, that, and the third, like strict, you feel me, what people are supposed to be doing. When I think if you take off so much of the restraint, so much of the control of trying to dictate what you want a person to do to fuel a certain system and allow them to be free. Like, for instance, I have, you know, a few friends that their sons are good gamers. You know what I'm saying? Just because they stay in the room all day and play the game has nothing to do with their intelligence. But I believe truly that they're good at it. And if you put like classes in school where they can learn how to make their own video games, you know what I'm saying? Or they can, you know, excel in ways where they could create certain systems. How advanced that would make people want to be in going to school and actually getting an education. You got to think though, no disrespect to Sony, I know y'all make the PlayStation, but the recent PlayStation 5 was really, really expensive. And the people that play it get the most satisfaction out of it. But instead of being the number one game system in the world, how about teaching some of these kids, you know, the basics behind creating a system in a game, since they like them so much. And if they're interested in it, think about how far that can elevate your company, how far you can grow, you know what I'm saying, by allowing the people who make y'all the most money be invested in the product as well. You know what I'm saying? And listen, these kids, these young boys be having a good old time playing the games. They be in there all day. They don't mess with nobody. They probably come out to eat a couple snacks, you feel me, eat dinner. They go back in there and they enjoy themselves, instead of trying to place them in a controlled environment where sometimes they don't have the freedom to be themselves, so it causes problems. Now they have all these anger issues and these certain things they can't control, because again, schools are a controlled environment to where you have to be learning this certain thing, but just a product of experience, I realized that everything I learned in high school is not going to oftentimes get you the job that you need to be able to take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to go back to school again and take out student loans that puts money in people's pockets while you struggle to get an education as well as take care of your regular life. And hopefully you make it to the point where you make as much as money. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not discrediting anything. But what I'm saying is, I think truly as we push away from the 3D and we move into the 5D, if you make people more interested in going to school and able to focus on what they're interested in and give them options. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's studio equipment, there's gaming classes, you know what I'm saying? There is fashion classes, you know what I'm saying? Sports classes. Like, give them a lot of options to where they're able to be free, as well as teaching certain mental principles. I promise you, kids will be much more eager to graduate. You know what I'm saying? Much more eager to actually go to school and sit in class if they're taking how to build their own game system. You know what I'm saying? And if they're focused on it enough, they can actually build it when they get out of school, and then they can actually make enough money to where they don't have to be out here struggling. Listen, I'm telling you, I just think it should go in a different direction. And again, it's going to be rules. You can't come to the recording studio and, you feel me, you've been smoking weed all day with your friends. Like, there is no, you feel me, gonna be any recording studio time for you if you think that's okay. And I promise you, listen, big shout out to the movie Coach Carter. I've watched that movie so many times I can't even count. But what I will say is there's a positive quote in there talking about what is your deepest fear, right? And the person that was quoting the quote, the actor, I'm not really fond of his name. What happens is when Coach Carter got to that school, he tried to like boss up on him, be hard on him. You feel me? Coach Carter bumped him back down to size and kicked him off the basketball team. The basketball team started winning, and he wanted to play now. You know what I'm saying? So he went back to Coach Carter and was like, what I got to do to play? Coach Carter wasn't going light on him. He gave him a bunch of suicides, a bunch of push-ups, and was like, if you can complete these by Friday, I'll let you back on the team. He did not complete it, but he didn't give up, and then his teammates also helped him, and he was able to be back on the team. And so he was geared towards doing something that he actually enjoyed, but sometimes you got to put those consequences in front of a person to make them realize a choice on what they want to do more. You know what I'm saying? You either want to advance towards something you enjoy to create a future for yourself, or you want to settle in doing things, you know what I'm saying, that's not going to get you nowhere. And I'm just going to be honest. From someone who, you know what I'm saying, grew up in that era, I'm not going to lie. It was things in the outside world that was way more important to me than actually going to class. You know what I'm saying? And actually wanting to get an education in class. Like, it was just not entertaining. It wasn't fun. You feel me? It was not anything that I felt like, you know what I'm saying, is going to help me advance in life, in period. And then you got to think how that channels what people may be going through at home. Say they have a dysfunctional family environment. They can go to school and create and do something that they love that eases the tension as far as what they have to deal with at home. You feel me? Because too much of that tension in a person can affect the energy of everybody around them. You know what I'm saying? And it causes certain functions to not function. I'm just saying. So my idea that I had since I've been like 16 was more focused on zoning in on what people want to do or where they feel they're creative at. Letting them have an opportunity to put their intention and energy towards that, as well as giving them other options. Because again, you can be multidimensional. You can be good in one thing, but you know what I'm saying, without being able to try other things, who knows how far you'll get if you're able to dibble and dabble with other things. You know what I'm saying? But having a success rate as far as in education is something that I feel is important, but not if what we're learning in school does not benefit us in being able to, you know what I'm saying, have a healthy lifestyle balance after school. Like, I personally believe a lot of the system for my culture people, let's take it back, has been designed off of crime, you know what I'm saying, getting money, going to jail, prison systems, because us having to deal with some of the certain things we dealt with at home and not being able to be stable and lack of money puts you in a certain mind frame to where you could care less about going to school or even graduating. You know what I'm saying? Because you're more focused on making sure you're going to eat the next day. You know what I'm saying? Making sure there's shelter so you don't got to be outside. That is more important when you think about it. School, that's secondary. I don't really care about that. We learning stuff that ain't helping us. You feel me? I need to make sure that I got shelter. I need to make sure, you feel me, that I got food. Knowing and understanding how much that puts a young adult at ease if they're able to focus and function in on what they like to do and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? There will be a lot less skipping class, a lot more interested, and start early. Don't make a person actually have to go to school all that time and then go to college again to be able to even learn the basics of what they want to do. I'm telling you, listen, as human beings, we pick up really fast. You know what I'm saying? You can't underestimate a person's ability to learn when they like something versus when they're not really too invested in it. They're not going to put their energy to it, so it's going to look like they're failing in this area, that area, but that is a lot of times it's not true. They're just not interested. They could care less about it. But if you're too busy trying to make people happy, or you're doing what the societal norms say you have to do, you're gonna spend your life trying to make sure that you do that. You know what I'm saying? But again, the earlier the better. Like, I feel like the things that's really important for life is the things that they took out, so that we weren't able to zone in on becoming better. There were people in power that just wanted to make money off of us, so they figured out how we operated and created systems where they benefited and we didn't. You know what I'm saying? Now is the time where a lot of people are waking up to who they are, and they're starting to see themselves for their true worth, which means going forward, it's all about creation. It's all about productivity. It's all about, you know, being invested in what you want to do. And once you do that, it creates the money automatically. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to compromise who you are for someone else's profit, you know? So I feel personally like, make it to where the things that kids are most interested in are in schools, because I feel truly that's going to make a kid want to be more invested in going to school. A lot of kids have emotional outbursts and certain psychological problems simply because there's no one paying attention to them. They're paying attention to them not understanding their gift so that these corporate figures can make money off of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these young kids have certain mental discrepancies solely because they're gifted, not because there's anything wrong with them. But if I'm a person who doesn't want anyone to be gifted because I'm gifted and I'm making money off of it, I don't want you to know you're gifted, so I put and stuff pills in your mouth. And therefore, I'll make a big profit off of that by brainwashing you into thinking that something's wrong with you and you got to take this medication. To go into these environments where you're around a bunch of people and you're still having issues, but the medication numbs you from being able to feel. So you can't understand and process the energies around you. And so you're chaotic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us tend to be able to grow and understand when we're alone. We get a chance to actually focus in on what it is that we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And as we heal that aspect of locking in on what we like to do, imagine how much easier it is to go out into an environment because you've locked in on yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you're unbalanced all around as a human, it's hard to get along with other energies because it knocks off your imbalance. You get, you know what I'm saying, anxiety. You get flustered. You don't know what to do. It's too many people coming at you. It's because we haven't understood how to train our energy yet. So just understand and realize how if you had let's just be, animated for a little while, superheroes who actually ran these schools that will give these children a place to be able to zone in on their giftedness, to where they won't have to struggle so much mentally. There won't be pills stuffed down their mouth. They're zoned in on their gift, and they're able to explore a world where their giftedness is appreciated, and they're able to not have to worry about providing for their family because their gift will automatically do that. Listen, I'm telling you, as we advance and move forward, that's the solution to, the balance of the world. But again, I already know what type of energy I'm fighting, and I'm fighting an energy that don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people to be able to create a lifestyle for their own selves off of their own gift, because they have been creating their own lifestyle off of everybody else's gift for so long. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fight. So it's almost as if a lot of these schools are just controlled environments where they keep the child controlled. But I'm telling you, once these kids start having too many, sporadic temper tantrums, and they going off the handle and biting and all that, it's not because there's nothing wrong with them. It's because you guys are trying to control them, and they're figuring out how to manage themselves in a world where it's automatically, systematically controlled. You get me? And so it's hard to function when you got to be somewhere for 8 hours, but there are people who don't even understand a simple love language, a simple understanding, a simple paying attention to me, because you're too busy trying to control the energy in the room as well as dealing with your own life. Hey, I'm telling you, it's chaotic, but I feel as if, for me personally, how I feel, if money is just something that could be printed on a piece of paper, why are we not putting it towards the elevation of human beings in general, to create a place where people don't struggle and there is no lack? Because a lot of people, not a lot, everybody is gifted. They just don't know how to tap into it because of the system that has been designed around them for them not to be able to ever realize their gift. Because there are people who want to capitalize off of that by creating certain systems. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I want my child to have a future in life. That means she has to be more geared to concentrating on doing things that she enjoys, because if she's doing something she don't enjoy, I promise it's not going to hold her attention. She's going to get distracted real easy. You know what I'm saying? As well as teaching these kids how to control their gift, because if the gift is out of control, it's going to control them instead of them being able to control it, which means you have to teach them certain things that I feel as if they're not being taught in school. Because again, it's a place where the teachers and the principals make the most money for having the kids in a seat. But a lot of distractions is coming out of these kids because they don't know what is going on when they get to school, or why certain kids are making fun of them or picking on them. It's because, you know what I'm saying, there are a lot of children that have been taught how to pick on people with a gift that maybe they don't have, but they do. There's just nobody above them has figured out how to help them control it, so they pick on other people, and then that causes disruption. Now you're making me mad because I'm not doing nothing to you, you picking on me, and it just causes too much of a distraction in these school systems. I feel like personally, my idea is not gonna go away. I think it's still very relevant. It's controlling, you feel me, not controlling, but creating schools where it's not so much control and it's more based off of freedom and the ability to tap into yourself, so you can aim towards what it is that you enjoy doing versus what it is you're forced to do. Because when you enjoy it more, you'll be more energized to put your energy towards it, and it helps you be more creative. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm in a space now where I be cool, I be chilling. You know what I'm saying? I put my intention to where I want it to go to, and I'm adamant on it. But since the system hasn't been built like that for centuries and decades, it's almost as if people who are still brainwashed feel like I should go take everything that's inside of me and go work for a company or something, or be around them, making them happy so they can come up with all these creative ideas while mines don't go nowhere. So you can kind of see where the imbalance in life has been off for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? I am someone that took an idea, I ran with it, I get better with time, I put my energy towards making sure I can create, and over time you will see the fruits of your labor blossom. You know what I'm saying? But again, there are so many people that are too focused on the old structural way of living that they're having a hard time pulling away from the 3D to advance in the 5D, which is creation, happiness, joy, no lack, no struggle. But you have to know yourself first. And it's hard to zone in on your gift if you're not surrounded by people that want you to grow. You're surrounded by people that don't want you to grow. They're used to you depending on them for your growth and your sanity. I'm telling you right now, let's move towards improving and making it better. Otherwise, these kids are not going to be able to function in classes with other kids and not having control of their giftedness. They're going to cause problems everywhere they go. It's going to be a problem every time you send them to school. You know what I'm saying? Because we are not teaching them the right things due to this energy change. We're still focused on the old system, and control is not what's going to help a young adult be more eager to have a controlled idea on what they want and where they want to go in life. It's going to be off balance. You know what I'm saying? And it causes a lot of people to not be happy with their life choices because they didn't have people around them that pushed them to do better. Because too many people seen their giftedness and just wanted to capitalize off of it and use it for their own advantage instead of pushing them to be able to grow and be the best version of themselves. I think it's time for a change. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe you got to start somewhere. And if we start focusing on the right things instead of the wrong things, think of how better a world will be created. I wish it would have been recording studios and, you know what I'm saying, journaling classes and book writing classes in school. I'd have been more eager to get there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to skip school today. Why? Because I get to go to the studio. You know what I'm saying? I get to make a song. But again, it's going to be rules. We're not bringing the outside life into you understanding how to be and create, because you need a clear mind and clear nervous system to create, to be encouraged to put your energy towards something you want to do. That's all a part of controlling your gifts. Listen, I can go on and on and on, but I'm not. So listen, if you don't know what it is, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.